Hello again. Today's recipe, as requested by a few friends, is Montreal style bagels. There's a few ingredients we need. I've tried a different camera angle here so you can get in closer. First thing you need is yeast. I prefer the instant one. And water that's at the right temperature. So for this, you will need a cup of water. I'm using a candy thermometer to measure the temperature. The temperature should be between 105 to 115, and this did cool off a little bit. So I'm going to get some fresh water while I'm doing this. Now, a candy thermometer, will set you back about $3, maybe $5 depending on where you buy it. But it's an invaluable tool for baking and obviously for candy making. So, get your candy thermometer, drop it in the water. This will register the temperature fairly quickly. So provided you're at 105 to 115, you're good to go. If you want, just run the water hotter and let it cool down. It's at 108 degrees. Perfect. Throw that in. Put in a tablespoon of white sugar over the get your packaged yeast. You can use different types. You can measure it. You can use cake yeast, but if you're just starting with baking, you should always use the packaged yeast. Just sprinkle it over the top. Got a spoon and stir it a little. You will start to see the yeast dissolve. And sink in. This process is called proofing. You have to make sure that the yeast is live before you start any form of baking. We're going to let this sit for about 5 or 10 minutes and come back and take a look. I did check the expiry date before I bought this, so it is good. And you will see the difference. It's been 10 minutes. And I have not moved the bowl, so I'm going to zoom in just so you can see the appearance and stir it up a bit. Okay, that yeast is definitely active. Okay? Alright, so I'll set that aside just for a moment while I mix the rest of the wet ingredients. So, let's start with a whisk and put in 1 egg. The egg should be at room temperature ideally, because anything that's cold, any liquids that are cold, will inhibit the action of the yeast at the beginning. Next, you want a 1/4 cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of oil, you can put in just a little less than 1/4 cup, that's fine. Just get those out of here. Give that a quick whisk. Now we come to the secret ingredient. Some recipes call for malt powder or malt syrup. Malt is definitely a part of Montreal style bagels. I am lucky enough to be able to buy this product. You should try to look for it if you can. And you need, I decapped it just a little to get the excess fizz off, which you'd want to do at the beginning. You'll need 1/2 cup of this. Actually, you know what? The lip on this is broken. I'm getting another one. Yeah, I had to drive across town today because it turns out that somebody had bought all of these earlier in the day. Okay, so there you see the nice froth coming off here. Now if you're going to cap it right away, you've got to pour it slow because you'll see the froth starting up already. This will help the leavening action of the bagels. And since you've got froth, basically you just pour your half cup till you start to see it go over. And yeah, we got some real liquid in there. Okay, so that's good to go. Now you can see this start to come alive already, and this is without the yeast. This has been an extra couple of minutes. You can see the yeast is chugging along here. Put the entire amount in. The last two ingredients to go in, to start off with, is 1 cup of flour and a teaspoon of kosher salt. The salt goes in absolutely last because salt inhibits the leavening action. You don't have to be precise about this, as you'll see when we start kneading it. Just leave that in there for now. I've got the kosher salt. Any coarse salt. If you don't have coarse salt, you can use regular salt, but if you want the authentic recipe, it should be a coarse. And if it's not precise, don't worry about it. A little bit more, a little bit less. Now you definitely want to just sprinkle this over, don't dump it in one clump. Okay. So now start beating these with a whisk, and it's nice and liquid. Okay, you're going to put in approximately 3 cups of flour more at the beginning, and you'll see with each addition, you'll beat it after each addition. So there's one. First cup really starts to thicken up. Use the whisk for as long as you can. Some people may have to stop after the first cup if they don't have a strong arm. Second cup, I usually give it up and switch to the spoon. Yeah. Okay, you can see it form a mass. Okay, so it's been rising on its own for a bit. This is going to be interesting because I lost film after the third cup. I was going to clean up all this, but I can't let this go any longer. Give me a second here. Okay. So it's been rising, and right now what I'm going to do, since you're going to need between 4.5 and 5 cups of flour, I'm just going to put the first cup right away and just turn it out and just get out what I can on here. So this started with a problem, and they'll still come out, don't worry about it.